Welcome to Apex Atlas. Today we are traveling to France, not the bustling streets you see in movies, but the France of the Douce France, where life moves with the pace of a slow ripening grape. Here, we find the art de vivre, the art of living well. Over the next hour and a half, we will explore 200 peaceful facts about this storied land. From the mist-covered peaks of the Alps to the sun-drenched shores of the Riviera, let the elegance and the stillness of the French countryside guide you toward a deep, effortless rest. The hexagon. France is often called l'hexagone because of its distinct six-sided shape. This symmetry is reflected in the French love for balance, order, and harmony in both their architecture and their thoughts. The blue of the Mediterranean, the French Riviera, is known as the Côte d'Azur. The name was inspired by the specific, deep cerulean blue of the water, which remains so clear that you can see the white pebbles on the seabed from the cliffs above. The scent of grass. The town of Grasse is the perfume capital of the world. In the early morning, the air is thick with the scent of jasmine and centifolia roses, a natural aromatherapy that has drifted through these hills for centuries. The slowest train, the Petit Train Jaune, little yellow train, in the Pyrenees winds slowly through high mountain passes. It moves at a pace that allows you to count the wildflowers in the meadows, a true journey of slow travel. The Lavender Sea. In the Plateau de Valensole, the lavender fields stretch to the horizon. When the wind blows, the purple stalks move in unison, creating a silent, fragrant wave that calms the senses instantly. The Village of the Mist. Many French villages are classified as plus beaux villages de France. One of them, Gordes, sits atop a hill and is often surrounded by a soft morning mist that makes the stone buildings look like they are floating in the clouds. The Baker's Morning. Long before the sun rises, French bakers, boulangers, begin their work. The quiet crack of a fresh baguette being broken is a sound of comfort that has signaled the start of a French day for generations. The art of the flâneur. The French have a word for a person who wanders aimlessly just to soak in the atmosphere, a flâneur. It is a respected way of life, finding peace in the act of simply observing the world without a destination. The sound of pétanque. In village squares across the south, you will hear the rhythmic clack of metal balls hitting each other. It is the game of pétanque, played at a leisurely pace under the shade of ancient plane trees. The Gardens of Giverny. Claude Monet's garden in Giverny was designed to be a living painting. The water lilies float silently on the pond, under the shade of a Japanese bridge, creating a space of absolute botanical stillness. The Light of Mont Saint-Michel. This tidal island abbey is surrounded by the highest tides in Europe. When the tide comes in, the abbey is cut off from the world, surrounded by a silent, shimmering mirror of water. The limestone of the Loire. The great chateaus of the Loire Valley are built from tuffeau, a soft, white limestone. It glows with a warm, creamy light at sunset, making the massive castles look delicate and ethereal. The Sunday market. Every Sunday, French towns go quiet as people head to the local market. The focus is on the colors of the produce and the quiet exchange of greetings, a ritual of community and fresh, slow food. The sleeping vineyards. In winter, the vineyards of Bordeaux go into a state of dormancy. The gnarled vines stand silently in the frost, gathering energy for the spring, a reminder of the necessity of seasonal rest. The Forest of Brocéliande. Located in Brittany, this ancient forest is the legendary home of Merlin. It is a place of deep moss, hidden springs, and a prehistoric silence that feels heavy with magic. The roofs of Paris. The iconic zinc-grey roofs of Paris were designed to mimic the color of the sky. Looking out over the rooftops at twilight, the city looks like a sea of soft shadows and chimney pots. The blue hour, L'heure bleue. The French have a special appreciation for the time just after sunset when the sky turns a deep, velvet blue. It is considered the most peaceful time of day, a bridge between the light and the dream. The village fontaines. Almost every French village has a central stone fountain. The constant, gentle burble of water is the white noise of French rural life, a cooling sound that has persisted for hundreds of years. The art of the aperitif. The aperitif is a quiet hour before dinner. It is not about drinking, but about opening the appetite and the conversation, a slow transition from the workday to the evening's rest. The spirit of serenite. While the world is often busy, the French heart seeks serenite, a deep-seated calm found in a good book, a quiet garden, or a perfectly aged piece of cheese. The majesty of Mont Blanc. The highest peak in the Alps, Mont Blanc is a world of eternal snow and glacier. At its summit, the air is so thin and pure that the silence feels absolute, a crystalline stillness high above the clouds. The Verdun Gorge, often called the Grand Canyon of Europe, this turquoise river cuts through massive limestone cliffs. From the heights, the water looks like a ribbon of silk, and the only sound is the wind whistling through the ancient rock formations. The Camargue horses. In the salty marshes of the Rhone Delta, wild white horses roam free. Seeing them gallop through the shallow waters at dawn, their manes catching the pink morning light, is one of the most ethereal sights in the country. The Dune du Pilot. On the Atlantic coast, you'll find the tallest sand dune in Europe. It stands between a vast pine forest and the ocean. Standing on its crest feels like being suspended between a sea of green and a sea of blue. The volcanic heart of Auvergne. Central France is home to the Chaîne des Pays, a dormant chain of over 80 volcanoes. Today, they are covered in lush green grass and deep craters that have become perfectly circular, silent lakes. The pink granite coast. In Brittany, the shoreline is made of unusual rose-colored rocks. The tides have smoothed them into strange, rounded shapes that glow with a soft, warm light even under the greyest Atlantic skies. The Mercantour wolves. Deep in the southern Alps, the grey wolf has made a quiet return. They live in the remote, high-altitude forests, their presence a sign of a truly healthy and wild ecosystem. The Calanques of Marseille. These are narrow, steep-walled inlets carved into limestone along the Mediterranean. They are accessible only by foot or boat, offering hidden beaches with water so still and clear it looks like liquid glass. The forest of Fontainebleau. Just south of Paris lies a forest famous for its massive sandstone boulders. It has been a sanctuary for artists for centuries, offering a labyrinth of sandy paths and ancient trees that muffle the noise of the outside world. The flamingos of the south. France is one of the few places in Europe where you can see large colonies of greater flamingos. Their soft pink feathers against the blue salt pans of the Mediterranean create a landscape of delicate, pastel beauty. The Aiguille du Midi. This needle of rock in the Alps features a glass skywalk. Standing on it, you look down into a vertical void of 1,000 meters, a dizzying but peaceful encounter with the sheer scale of the mountains. The Corsican Marquis. The island of Corsica is covered in a dense, fragrant scrubland called Marquis. It is a blend of sage, rosemary, and myrtle. Napoleon famously said he could recognize his home island by its scent alone before even seeing it. The cliffs of Etretat. In Normandy, the white chalk cliffs form natural arches over the sea. The constant rhythm of the waves hitting the flint pebbles on the beach creates a rattling sound that is the signature music of the northern coast. The Vanice National Park, as France's first national park, it is a haven for the alpine ibex. These sure-footed goats can be seen standing motionless on near vertical cliffs, observing the valleys below with stoic mountain wisdom. The lavender honeybees. During the lavender bloom in Provence, millions of bees work in the fields. The low, steady hum of their wings is a hypnotic white noise that defines the heat of a French summer afternoon. The Pyrenean cirques. A cirque is a natural amphitheater carved by glacier. The Cirque de Gavigny features one of the highest waterfalls in Europe, falling like a silent white thread against a massive wall of grey stone. The Black Truffle Forests. In the Périgord region, the black diamond grows hidden beneath the roots of oak trees. Finding them requires a quiet, intuitive connection between a farmer and their dog, a silent hunt through the damp earth. The salt marshes of Guérande. For over 1,000 years, salt workers have used the sun and wind to evaporate seawater in clay pans. The resulting fleur de sel is harvested by hand in a slow, rhythmic tradition that honors the elements. The red canyons of Colorado Provençal. In the heart of the Luberon, old ochre mines have created a landscape of brilliant oranges and reds. Walking through these fairy chimneys feels like stepping onto a different, much warmer planet. The silence of the bocage. In the French countryside, a bocage is a landscape of small fields divided by high hedgerows. These hedges act as windbreaks and bird sanctuaries, creating a patchwork of quiet, protected green rooms. The gastronomic meal. The French gastronomic meal is so culturally vital that it is protected by UNESCO. It emphasizes the importance of togetherness, the careful pairing of flavors, and the beauty of a table set with care. A cheese for every day. It is often said that France has over 1,600 distinct types of cheese. General Charles de Gaulle famously asked, "How can you govern a country which has 246 varieties of cheese?" Highlighting the incredible diversity of the French soil. The ritual of the baguette. The baguette is meant to be bought fresh every day. There is a quiet, sensory joy in the crunch of the crust, la croûte, and the soft, airy center, la miette. Many people cannot resist breaking off the end, the crouton, to eat on the walk home. The terroir philosophy. The word terroir refers to the unique soul of a place, the soil, the climate, and the altitude. Whether it's wine or honey, the French believe you are tasting the history and the very breath of the land. The sacred hour of lunch. In many parts of rural France, life still stops completely between 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. Businesses close, and families sit down for a multi-course meal, prioritizing digestion and conversation over productivity. The art of the fromage plate. Cheese is served after the main course and before dessert. It is always served at room temperature to allow the fats to soften and the aromas to bloom, a slow unfolding of flavor. The Bordeaux sleep. The great wines of Bordeaux are kept in cool, dark limestone cellars for years. In this absolute silence and steady temperature, the tannins soften, teaching us that the best things in life require time and stillness. The salt of the earth. In Brittany, the fleur de sel, flower of salt, is harvested by hand using wooden rakes. It is the lightest, most delicate salt, formed only on the surface of the water on calm, sunny days. The Provençal herbs. Herbes de Provence is a fragrant blend of rosemary, thyme, oregano, and savory. Sprinkling them over a dish is like releasing a concentrated essence of the sun-drenched Mediterranean hillside. The slow-cooked cassoulet, this hearty bean stew from the south, is cooked for hours at a very low temperature. The crust is broken and stirred back in 7 times, a patient process that creates a deep, comforting richness. The macaron's elegance, a perfect macaron, is a study in texture, a crisp outer shell that yields to a soft, chewy interior. Their pastel colors, pistachio green, rose pink, and lavender, make them look like edible gems. The vineyard roses, you will often see rose bushes planted at the end of vineyard rows. Historically, they served as an early warning system for vine health, a beautiful and silent guardian of the grapes. The butter of Brittany. In the northwest, butter is a way of life. It is often served with large crystals of sea salt that crunch between the teeth, a simple but profound luxury on a slice of fresh bread. The soup of the fishermen, bouillabaisse, originally a humble stew made by Marseille fishermen from the fish they couldn't sell, has become a refined art form. The secret is the saffron, which turns the broth into a liquid gold. The Tatin sisters' mistake. The tart tatin, upside-down apple tart, was created by accident when a tart was cooked upside down. It is a reminder that even in the kitchen, there is beauty and peace to be found in life's little imperfections. The stillness of the wine glass. Tasters are taught to listen to the wine. After swirling, they watch the tears or legs run down the side of the glass, a slow, visual rhythm that indicates the wine's body and soul. The knife tradition. In rural France, many people carry their own opinel folding knife with a wooden handle. It is a tool for life, used for cutting bread, peeling fruit, or whittling a stick during a quiet afternoon walk. The morning café au lait. Traditionally, the morning coffee in a French home is served in a wide bowl, bowl, rather than a mug. This allows you to warm both hands on the ceramic, a grounding start to the day. The wild asparagus. In spring, foragers head to the woods for wild asparagus. They are thinner and more delicate than the garden variety, requiring a keen, quiet eye to spot them among the forest floor's shadows. The digestive. The meal often ends with a small glass of cognac or armagnac. This digestive is meant to be sipped with extreme slowness, allowing the warmth of the spirit to settle the body into a state of evening relaxation. The women's castle. Chenonceau is famously known as the Chateau des Dames. Spanning the river Cher, its arches reflect in the water below. It was designed and protected by powerful women throughout history, giving it a uniquely graceful and peaceful atmosphere. The 365 chimneys of Chambord. This massive hunting lodge was designed with a chimney for every day of the year. Its roofline is a forest of stone towers and spires, intended to look like a miniature city reaching toward the clouds. The Leonardo connection. Leonardo da Vinci spent his final years at Clos-Leuse, a manor house connected to the royal Chateau d'Amboise by a secret tunnel. He spent his days in the gardens, sketching the flight of birds and the movement of water. The Sleeping Beauty Castle. The Chateau d'Us is said to have inspired Charles Perrault to write Sleeping Beauty. With its white towers and dark slate roofs tucked against the Chinon forest, it looks like a dream captured in stone. The Garden of Love. At Villandry, the gardens are laid out in intricate geometric patterns called the Gardens of Love. Each section uses hedges and flowers to represent different types of affection: romantic, passionate, fickle, and tragic. The Fortress of Carcassonne. This is a double-walled medieval citadel with 52 towers. At night, when the crowds have left and the stone walls are lit by a soft amber glow, it feels as though you have stepped back into the 13th century. The Mirror Hall's light. In the Palace of Versailles, the Hall of Mirrors was designed to catch the rising sun. The 357 mirrors reflect the garden's light, creating a shimmering, golden world that feels infinite. The island fortress of If, located off the coast of Marseille, the Chateau d'If was the setting for the Count of Monte Cristo. Today, the only inhabitants are seagulls, and the sound of the Mediterranean crashing against the cells is a lonely, rhythmic song. The floating chateau of Azay-le-Rideau, built on an island in the Indre River, this castle was designed to be a jewelry box of the French Renaissance. Its foundation sits directly in the water, so it appears to be floating on its own reflection. The Catha castles, perched on impossible limestone crags in the south, these castles in the sky, like Queribus or Peripertus, were the last refuges of the Catha people. They offer some of the most silent and solitary views in all of Europe. The kitchens of Chantilly. The Château de Chantilly is the birthplace of Chantilly cream. The kitchens were once the heart of the most extravagant parties in France, but today they are silent, smelling only of cool stone and old copper. The Moat of Pierrefonds. This castle was a ruin until Napoleon III had it rebuilt as a romanticized version of the Middle Ages. Its massive towers and drawbridges make it look like a storybook illustration come to life. The wine caves of Chinon. Many chateaus in the Loire Valley have vast underground cellars carved directly into the tuffeau limestone. These caves maintain a constant, cool temperature, a silent place where millions of bottles sleep for decades. The Hanging Gardens of Marquissac, in the Dordogne, this chateau features a garden of 150,000 hand-pruned boxwood trees. They are shaped into soft, round bubbles that look like green clouds rolling across the cliffside. The Ghost of the Red Lady. Many French castles have a Dame Blanche or a Dame Rouge. These legends are often used to explain the mysterious creaks and shadows in the long galleries, adding a layer of quiet mystery to the night. The Roof of the Invalids. In Paris, the Golden Dome of Les Invalides contains the tomb of Napoleon. The gold leaf is replaced every few decades, ensuring that even on a grey, rainy day, the building holds a piece of the sun. The moat's ecosystem. The stagnant water of ancient moats often becomes a sanctuary for water lilies, dragonflies, and grey herons. These circles of water create a protective barrier of nature around the man-made stone. The Sun King's sunrise. At Versailles, the entire palace is aligned with the east-west axis of the sun. The king's bed was positioned at the exact center, so the sun would rise directly in line with his window, a celestial clockwork. The abandoned chateaus. Throughout the French countryside, there are hundreds of smaller, forgotten chateaus. Covered in ivy and surrounded by overgrown parks, they represent the memento mori, the peaceful beauty of nature reclaiming history. The spirit of the vie de chateau. This phrase refers to a life of luxury and ease. But in the modern sense, it is about the peace found in high ceilings, thick stone walls that block out the world, and the long, slow shadows of an afternoon in the park. The hivernal peace. Winter in the French Alps brings a specific type of silence known as snow muffling. The porous structure of fresh snowflakes absorbs sound waves, turning the mountains into a vast, silent cathedral. The mists of the Seine. In November and December, the River Seine in Paris is often draped in a thick, silver mist. The Eiffel Tower disappears into the white haze, leaving only the sound of the water and the distant tolling of church bells. The almond blossoms. In February, before any other tree wakes up, the almond trees of Provence burst into delicate white and pink flowers. They are a silent promise that the winter is fading and the sun is returning. The Mimosa Gold. The French Riviera celebrates the end of winter with the blooming of the mimosa. These bright yellow, pom-pom-like flowers cover the hillsides of the Estrel, filling the air with a soft, honey-like fragrance. The spring reveille. In the Loire Valley, spring is defined by the arrival of wild tulips and lilies of the valley. On May 1st, it is a tradition to offer a sprig of muguet, lily of the valley, for good luck, a tiny, fragrant bell of peace. The cherry orchards of Luberon. In April, the orchards of the south turn into white clouds. When the wind blows, the petals fall like spring snow, carpeting the red earth in a soft, floral blanket. The longest day, during the summer solstice, the Fête de la Musique fills the streets. But in the countryside, the peace is found in the crepuscule, the long, lingering twilight where the sky stays a pale lemon yellow until nearly 11 p.m. The sun-drenched siesta. In July, the heat of the midday sun in Occitanie is so intense that the birds stop singing. This is the hour of the siesta, where the only movement is the shimmering heat haze over the sunflower fields. The sunflower symmetry. Fields of tournesols, sunflowers, across central France follow the sun in perfect unison. At dawn, they all face east, a silent, botanical morning prayer that turns entire landscapes golden. The harvest moon, Lavender September, is the month of the grape harvest. There is a focused, rhythmic energy in the vineyards as pickers move between the rows, a tradition of labor that has remained unchanged for 2,000 years. The golden light of Chablis, autumn in Burgundy, creates a light that painters call liquid gold. The vines turn yellow and orange, reflecting the low-hanging sun and making the hills look as though they are glowing from within. The chestnut roast. As October turns to November, the scent of roasting chestnuts, marongs, fills the air of French village squares. The smoky, sweet aroma is the olfactory signal that the hearthfire season has begun. The mushroom hunt. Autumn rains bring out the foragers in the Dordogne. Searching for ceps, porcini, or girolles involves walking slowly through the damp oak forests, eyes fixed on the moss, a quiet, rewarding hunt. The arrival of the Beaujolais. In November, the new wine arrives. It is a celebration of the year's work, a time to sit in a warm bistro while the rain taps on the window and toast to the resilience of the earth. The truffle winter. From December to March, the black diamond of Périgord is harvested. This is a winter of damp earth and fog, where the most valuable treasures are found in the darkest, coldest soil. The alpine alpenglow. During winter sunsets, the snowy peaks of the Pyrenees often turn a vibrant shade of violet and pink. This alpenglow lasts only a few minutes, a fleeting, silent masterpiece of light. The roaring Atlantic. In winter, the coast of Aquitaine experiences massive swells. Watching the grey-blue Atlantic crash against the pine-fringed dunes from a safe distance is a powerful, meditative experience of nature's force. The village crèche. In December, many southern villages create living or clay figure nativity scenes. These santons represent traditional village characters, the baker, the shepherd, the spinner, all frozen in a moment of quiet wonder. The thaw of the Jura. In spring, the waterfalls of the Jura Mountains roar back to life. The sound of melting ice turning into rushing crystal-clear water is the heartbeat of the French spring. The season of douceur. Regardless of the weather, the French strive for douceur de vivre, the sweetness of life. It is the ability to find a reason for peace in the first frost of winter or the first rose of June. The glass of Baccarat. Since 1764, the glassmakers of the village of Baccarat have produced some of the world's finest crystal. The cry of the glass, the clear, sustained ring when it is tapped, is the signature of its absolute purity and the stillness of its molten birth. The lace of Alençon, known as the Queen of Lace, this needlepoint technique is so intricate that it takes 7 to 15 hours to produce a piece the size of a postage stamp. It is a craft of extreme silence and focus, practiced one tiny stitch at a time. The porcelain of Limoges, the secret to this porcelain's translucent whiteness is kaolin clay, discovered in the region in 1768. Each piece is fired at temperatures reaching 1,400 degrees Celsius, emerging from the heat as delicate and smooth as a polished eggshell. The tapestries of Aubusson, in the Loire Valley, weavers have been creating narrative tapestries for 6 centuries. They work from the shadow side of the loom, using mirrors to see the progress of their art, a slow weaving of color and story. The scent of the nose, in the perfume houses of Grasse and Nose, is a master perfumer who can identify thousands of individual scents. They work in total silence to compose a fragrance, treating scents like musical notes in a symphony. The silk of Lyon. For centuries, Lyon was the silk capital of Europe. The Canuts, silk weavers, worked on massive looms that created a rhythmic, hypnotic clack-clack in the city's hilly neighborhoods, turning delicate threads into shimmering brocades. The knives of L'Aiguille. Each authentic L'Aiguille knife is handmade by a single craftsman. The small bee or fly on the spring of the knife is a symbol of the resilience and the stinging precision of the mountain artisans. The straw marqueterie de Pale is the art of using flattened stalks of rye straw to create shimmering geometric patterns. Because the straw has a natural silica coating, it glows with a light that changes as you walk past it. The casks of Limousin, the world's best cognac and wine, are aged in oak barrels from the Limousin forest. The coopers, barrel makers, use fire to toast the inside of the wood, a process that determines the vanilla and spice notes of the future drink. The gloves of Millau. The town of Millau is famous for its lambskin gloves, so soft they are often called second skin. The leather is worked by hand until it is as thin as paper but as strong as silk. The copper of Villedieu-les-Poêles. In this city of copper in Normandy, artisans have hammered metal for 800 years. The steady, rhythmic ping of the hammer on copper is the soundtrack of the village, creating cookware that lasts for generations. The paper of Angoulême. Historically, the mills of Angoulême produced the finest writing paper in France. The water of the Charente River was said to be so pure it gave the paper a unique, velvet texture that made the ink dance. The enamel of Longwy. Famous for its émaux de Longwy, this craft involves applying thick, colored glazes to ceramics to create raised, jewel-like patterns. The crackled finish is a natural result of the cooling process, adding a living texture. The berets of the Pyrenees. The traditional French beret was originally worn by shepherds in the Béarn region. Made of felted wool, it is naturally waterproof and temperature regulating, a simple, functional masterpiece of mountain design. The violins of Mirecourt. Tucked away in the Vosges Mountains, Mirecourt has been a center for violin making since the 17th century. The artisans listen to the voice of the spruce wood before they even begin to carve, seeking the perfect resonance. The tiles of Salins. In Provence, the red volcanic clay is used to make temets, hexagonal floor tiles. They retain the coolness of the earth in summer and the warmth of the sun in winter, a grounding element of every southern home. The embroideries of Lesage. The House of Lesage in Paris preserves 75,000 embroidery samples. They use tiny seed pearls, silk threads, and gold wire to create textures that look like feathers or butterfly wings, a pinnacle of haute couture. The santons of Provence. These little saints are hand-painted clay figures used in Christmas mangers. They represent everyday village life, the lavender picker, the miller, the fishwife, capturing the soul of Provence in miniature. The slate of Angers. The dark, shimmering roofs of the Loire Valley chateaus come from the slate quarries of Angers. Split by hand into thin shingles, the stone reflects the grey-blue light of the French sky. The philosophy of bel ouvrage. This term refers to work well done. It is the quiet pride a craftsman feels when looking at a finished object, knowing that their time, patience, and spirit are now part of that object's history. The Island of Beauty, Corsica, often called l'Isle de Butte. Corsica is a mountain in the sea. Its coastline is dotted with Genos towers, ancient stone lookouts that stand in silent vigil over the Mediterranean, watching for ships that no longer come. The glowing waters of Port-Croix. This is Europe's first maritime national park. No cars or bicycles are allowed. The only sounds are the cicadas in the Aleppo pines and the gentle splash of snappers in the protected, crystal-clear bays. The mirror of Mont Saint-Michel. The bay surrounding this abbey has the highest tides in continental Europe. When the tide goes out, it leaves behind miles of glistening, wet sand that reflects the sky perfectly, creating a world of infinite light. The wild coast of Quiberon. In Brittany, the Côte Sauvage faces the open Atlantic. Even on a calm day, the swell is powerful. The air is constantly filled with a fine, salty mist that makes the rugged granite cliffs appear soft and ethereal. The fragrant Isle of Noirmoutier. Known for its white gold, sea salt, this Atlantic island is connected to the mainland by the Passage du Gois, a road that disappears twice a day beneath the rising tide. The singing pebbles of Nice. The beach at Nice is made of galettes, smooth grey pebbles. When the waves recede, the sound of thousands of stones rolling against each other creates a rhythmic, metallic shushing that is the city's natural lullaby. The red cliffs of Estoril. Between Cannes and Saint Raphael, the mountains are made of fiery red volcanic rock. They plunge directly into the deep blue sea, creating a color contrast so vivid it looks like a Fauvis painting. The Seven Islands of Brittany. The Septembrils are a sanctuary for northern gannets and puffins. These rocky outcrops are off-limits to humans, allowing the birds to live in a state of prehistoric peace, surrounded by the churning green sea. The lavender of the sea. On the island of Port-Croix, the trails are lined with eucalyptus and wild herbs. The scent of salt mixed with warm pine needles is so potent it can be smelled by sailors miles before they reach the shore. The fortress island of Saint-Malo. The old Corsair city is entirely surrounded by massive granite walls. At high tide, the waves explode against the stone ramparts, sending plumes of white spray into the air like silent fireworks. The Sentier des Douaniers. This ancient customs officer's path circles nearly the entire coast of Brittany. Walking it reveals hidden secret beaches accessible only by foot, where the only tracks in the sand are those of the shorebirds. The underwater world of the Lérins. Off the coast of Cannes, an underwater eco-museum features 6 massive stone faces submerged on the seafloor. They rest in the silent, filtered blue light, slowly being reclaimed by seagrass and coral. The salt breath of the Camargue. Where the Rhône meets the sea, the land is flat and silver. The salt pans, salines, turn bright pink due to unique algae, creating a surreal, shimmering landscape where flamingos stand in silent meditation. The granite menhirs of the sea. Along the coast of Finistère, massive boulders are scattered in the water like giants' marbles. Some have been carved by the wind into the shapes of sleeping animals or hooded monks. The blue thistles of the dunes. On the Atlantic coast, the sand dunes are protected by Panicourt maritime, sea holly. These blue, architectural plants hold the sand in place, standing as prickly guardians against the coastal winds. The village in the water, the Isle de Seine, is so low and flat it almost looks like it is floating on the surface of the Atlantic. During storms, the spray washes over the entire island, a reminder of the sea's immense and quiet power. The Calanques echo. In the narrow limestone inlets of Cassis, the water is so still that the sound of a single paddle hitting the surface echoes off the 400-meter-high white cliffs. The oysters of Oloron, the colorful wooden huts of the oyster farmers, stand on stilts over the mudflats. At low tide, the landscape is a maze of oyster beds and mirrors of water, a quiet farm of the sea. The lighthouse of Cordouan, known as the Versailles of the seas, this is the oldest lighthouse in France. It stands in the middle of the Gironde estuary, its regal stone architecture a symbol of human order in the middle of the wild water. The horizon's call, to stand on the westernmost tip of France, the Point du Raz, is to feel the weight of the continent behind you and the infinite peace of the Atlantic before you. It is a place where the world ends and the dreams begin. The Beast of Gévaudan. In the 1760s, a mysterious creature terrorized the mountains of south-central France. Whether it was a giant wolf or something more mythical, the legend remains a symbol of the wild, untamable spirit of the French highlands. The Melusine of the Loire. Legend tells of a woman, Melusine, who was cursed to turn into a serpent from the waist down every Saturday. She is said to have built many of the great castles of Poitou and the Loire with a single night's work of magic. The standing stones of Carnac. In Brittany, thousands of prehistoric standing stones are lined in long, silent rows. Local folklore says they are a Roman legion turned to stone by Merlin to protect the ancient Breton people. The Lady of the Lake. Vivre, the forest of Brocéliande, is said to be the home of the Lady of the Lake. The Mirror of Fairies is a pool so still and clear that it was believed to be a portal to an underwater kingdom of eternal peace. The Gargoyle's Secret. The stone monsters on the cathedrals, like Notre Dame, were believed to come to life at night to protect the sacred buildings from evil spirits. By day, they sit in silent stone, watching over the city with unblinking eyes. The Tarasque of Provence. Legend tells of a dragon-like monster that lived in the Rhône River. It was finally tamed not by a sword, but by a young woman, Saint Martha, who led it away with a simple ribbon, a story of the power of gentleness over force. The Ankou of Brittany. The Ankou is the personification of death in Breton mythology. He is depicted as a tall, thin man in a wide-brimmed hat driving a creaking wooden cart. To hear the clack-clack of his wheels at night was a sign to finish one's earthly business. The Bells of Ys. The mythical city of Ys was said to have been swallowed by the sea off the coast of Douarnenez. Legend says that on calm days, if you listen closely to the rhythm of the waves, you can still hear the church bells ringing from the deep. The Drac of the Rhône. A water spirit called the Drac was said to live under the bridges of southern France. He appeared as a shimmering gold ring or a white flower floating on the water to lure the curious into his quiet, underwater palace. The Barsajourn of the Pyrenees. In the mountains bordering Spain, the Lord of the Woods is a giant covered in hair. He is a protector of flocks. When a storm approaches, he whistles a specific note to tell the shepherds to bring their sheep to safety. The Ghost of the Tuileries. a man in red is said to haunt the Tuileries Gardens in Paris. Legend says he appears only before great changes in French history, a silent, scarlet shadow walking among the statues. The fairy path of the Vosges. In the Vosges Mountains, certain paths are lined with fairy rings of mushrooms. Folklore warns that to step inside one is to lose track of time. 1 hour inside the circle might be 100 years in the world outside. The Holy Grail in the Pyrenees. The mountaintop fortress of Montségur is often linked to the Holy Grail. Some believe the sacred vessel was hidden in the deep limestone caves beneath the castle, guarded by the silence of the mountain. The Bridge of Avignon. The famous Pont d'Avignon was supposedly built by a shepherd boy named Benezet, who was told by an angel to move a stone so heavy that 30 men couldn't lift it. His success was seen as a miracle of faith. The White Lady of the Chateaus. Almost every castle in France has a Dame Blanche. These are usually spirits who are locked away in towers. They appear as flickering lights or soft sighs in the drafty corridors during the full moon. The giant Gargantua. The writer Rabelais based his character on older folk legends of a giant who created the French landscape. It was said the hills of the Limousin were formed when he knocked the mud off his giant boots. The Lavender sprites. In Provence, it was believed that tiny spirits lived within the lavender stalks. Picking the flowers with a quiet, respectful mind was said to ensure that the scent would bring only good dreams to the household. The Menhir of Champdolent. This massive 30-foot standing stone is said to be slowly sinking into the earth. Legend says that when it disappears completely, the world will return to a state of absolute, primordial silence. The spirit of the vineyard. In Burgundy, old-timers talk of the genius of the vine. It is a silent force that decides which year will be legendary, requiring the winemaker to listen more than they speak. The magic of merveilleux. This French word means the marvelous. It is the ability to see the extraordinary in the ordinary, a mindset that allows every forest and every stone to hold a piece of the infinite. The Promenade Plantée. Long before New York's High Line, Paris created this elevated park on an abandoned railway viaduct. Walking among the rose bushes and lime trees 10 meters above the street, you look down on the city as if from a silent, green cloud. The Jardin du Luxembourg's bees. In the heart of the city, near the Medici fountain, sits a traditional apiary, rucha. The bees have lived here since 1856, gathering nectar from the city's flowerbeds in a state of urban pastoral peace. The Arons de Lutz, tucked away behind an ordinary apartment building in the Latin Quarter, is a Roman amphitheater from the 1st century. Today, instead of gladiators, you'll find locals playing quiet games of pétanque on the ancient sand. The Parc des Buttes-Chaumont. This park is a masterpiece of verticality, featuring a suspension bridge and a towering cliff topped by a temple. The sound of the artificial waterfall inside the cool, dark grotto provides a perfect white noise to drown out the city traffic. The Square du Vert Galant. Located at the very tip of the Isle de la Cite, this tiny park sits right at the water level of the Seine. Sitting on its edge, watching the river flow past on both sides, feels like being on the prow of a slow-moving stone ship. The Jardin des Plantes. This botanical garden is home to a 300-year-old cedar of Lebanon. Walking through the Alpine Garden, which contains 2,000 mountain plants, makes the air feel crisp and cool, even in the heat of a Parisian July. The Palais Royal Courtyard. Surrounded by elegant 17th century arcades, this garden is a sanctuary of symmetry. The rhythmic sound of footsteps on the gravel paths and the splash of the central fountain create a hypnotic, aristocratic calm. The Parc Monceau, known for its follies, miniature versions of a pyramid, a Roman colonnade, and a Dutch windmill, this park was a favorite of Marcel Proust. It is a place where the imagination is encouraged to wander as slowly as the feet. The cemetery of Père Lachaise, while a burial ground, it is also one of the city's most peaceful parks. The massive, ivy-covered trees and mossy cobblestone paths create a silent city of stone where time seems to have stood perfectly still. The Musée Rodin Garden, Rodin sculptures, like the thinker, are scattered throughout a lush rose garden. Seeing these powerful figures in a state of eternal, silent contemplation encourages a similar stillness in the viewer. The Square René Viviani, this small park near Notre Dame, is home to the oldest tree in Paris, a robinia planted in 1601. Its gnarled, supported branches have watched 4 centuries of Parisian history pass by in silence. The Jardin des Archives Nationaux. This is a cluster of interconnected, secret gardens hidden behind the grand hotels of the Marais. Each room has its own character, offering a series of private, sun-drenched retreats from the world. The Parc de la Villette's Red Follies. In the northeast of the city, this modern park is crisscrossed by wide canals. The themed gardens, such as the Garden of Mirrors or the Garden of Shadows, offer conceptual spaces for quiet, sensory exploration. The Square de Louvois, located across from the National Library, this park is centered around a magnificent fountain representing 4 French rivers. The sound of the water is a steady, liquid pulse that anchors the surrounding quiet streets. The Bagatelle Rose Garden, located within the Bois de Boulogne, this garden contains 10,000 rose bushes. During the June bloom, the intensity of the fragrance is so overwhelming it acts as a natural sedative for the weary traveler. The Albert Kahn Museum Gardens. This world garden features a Japanese village, an English garden, and a blue forest. It was designed to promote universal peace through the harmony of different landscape traditions. The Square Jean XXA, nestled directly behind the apse of Notre Dame, this garden offers the most peaceful view of the cathedral's flying buttresses. Under the shade of the cherry blossoms, the weight of the stone feels light and airy. The Parc de Belleville, situated on a high hill, this park offers a panoramic view of Paris. Watching the sun set over the distant Eiffel Tower from the quiet wooden terraces is a nightly ritual of perspective and peace. The village of Bercy, what was once a wine warehouse district, is now a park where old rail tracks still run between the flower beds. It is a place of memory, where the scent of old wood and lavender lingers in the air. The spirit of the flâner. In these gardens, the Parisian flâner is at home. There is no rush, no next step, only the quiet appreciation of a single fallen leaf or the way the light hits the moss on a stone statue. The Impressionist light. Painters like Monet and Renoir didn't just paint objects, they painted the air between them. Their style captures the vibration of a moment, a shimmering, sun-dappled piece that feels as though time has slowed down to a crawl. The Stendhal syndrome, named after the French writer, this refers to the overwhelming emotion one feels when confronted with immense beauty. In France, this is often found in the quiet, dusty light of a village church or the vastness of a vineyard. The philosophy of Le Petit Prince, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry's famous book, reminds us that the essential is invisible to the eye. It encourages a quiet, internal gaze, looking at the world with the heart rather than the mind. The Caillebotte perspectives. The painter Gustave Caillebotte often painted the quiet, rainy streets of Paris. His work captures the grey-blue melancholy and the architectural rhythm of the city, making the urban landscape feel as still as a forest. The poetry of Baudelaire. In his work L'Invitation à Voyage, Baudelaire describes a world of luxe, calm et volupté, luxury, calm, and pleasure. This phrase has become the unofficial motto for the French pursuit of a balanced, beautiful life. The Gothic rose windows, the stained glass windows of Chartres Cathedral create a light of the soul. The colors, especially the famous Chartres blue, are designed to transform harsh sunlight into a soft, ethereal glow that invites silent meditation. The chanson tradition, the music of Edith Piaf or Charles Aznavour, is often called the song of the heart. These melodies are built on a slow, steady accordion rhythm that mimics the heartbeat, grounding the listener in a sense of nostalgic comfort. The Surrealist Dream. Movement leaders like André Breton sought to merge the dream state with reality. This French artistic legacy encourages us to find the magic in the mundane, the surreal beauty of a single cloud or a forgotten key. The Balzac coffee ritual. Honoré de Balzac famously wrote thousands of pages fueled by coffee. However, the ritual of the Café de Flore in Paris is about the opposite. Sitting for hours with a single cup, watching the world drift by like a slow-moving river. The tapestries of the Lady and the Unicorn. These 6 medieval tapestries in Paris represent the 5 senses, plus a 6th, my sole desire, the heart. The deep red backgrounds and silent animals create a world of courtly, symbolic peace. The light of Matisse. In his later years in Vence, Henri Matisse used cutouts to create art of pure color and shape. He described his work as an armchair for the mind, a place where the viewer can rest after a long day. The Haussmann rhythm. The uniform limestone facades of Paris were designed by Baron Haussmann to create a sense of visual calm. The repeating balconies and slate roofs provide a steady, architectural wallpaper for a quiet life. The literature of Le Grand Molnies. This classic novel by Alain Fournier captures the ethereal, dreamlike quality of a French childhood in the countryside, a world of hidden estates and endless summer afternoons. The statues of the Luxembourg. Scattered among the trees are statues of the queens of France. They stand in elegant, silent rows, their stone faces weathered by the years, acting as quiet guardians of the park's history. The existentialist pause. Philosophers like Sartre and Camus spent their time in the cafes of Saint-Germain-des-Prés. Their work often focused on the freedom of the individual, found in the quiet moments of choice and reflection. The art of l'art pour l'art, the art for art's sake movement was born in France. It suggests that beauty doesn't need a purpose, its only job is to exist and provide a space for the spirit to breathe. The blue of Yves Klein. The French artist created International Klein Blue, a deep, matte ultramarine. He believed this color represented the void, the sky, and the infinite, offering a visual reset for a busy mind. The modernity of Le Corbusier. The architect's Villa Savoy was designed to be a machine for living, but its true genius is the way it framed nature like a painting, bringing the peace of the garden into the silence of the room. The Proustian moment. Marcel Proust famously described how the taste of a madeleine dipped in tea brought back a flood of childhood memories. It is a reminder that the smallest sensory details are the keys to our most peaceful inner worlds. The spirit of la joie de vivre. We end our journey with this quintessential French phrase. It is the simple, quiet joy of living, not a loud celebration, but a steady, glowing embers of gratitude for the light, the bread, and the breath. We have reached the end of our 90-minute journey through the soul of France. We have wandered from the snowy peaks of the Alps to the lavender fields of Provence, and through the quiet, stone-paved streets of Paris. I hope these 200 facts have acted like the blue hour for your mind, a soft transition from the busyness of the day into the deep, indigo peace of the night. If you have enjoyed this sleepy study of France, please like this video and share which region felt most like home to you in the comments. To join us on our next quiet adventure across the globe, please subscribe to our channel. Now, let the image of a moonlit river Seine be the last thing you see. Feel the warmth of a French hearth fire at your feet. Take one final, slow, deep breath, and let the world fade away into a beautiful, Gallic dream. Merci. Born knew it, and sleep well.